Are you ready to take your content to the next level? Upbeat Premium gives you unlimited access to premium tracks for only $6.99 a month. Go premium now.
Other people would discuss that length. My channel is anti-Hispanic. If you're Hispanic and you're in the, if you're my viewers, subscribers, you're Hispanic, you feel this channel is anti-Hispanic? You feel this channel is anti-you? No, Viva. When I both that's a bigger plane. So that
What's up, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Denise Gonzalez, for those who don't know me, and this is Latin Explaining with Denise, all about finances and business. I hope you guys have had a good and productive week. Now, I want to start the show today with something different. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. I see 10 people here. Please like this video. And also, if you want to drop a comment after the video is done, feel free to do so because it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me grow my channel. So thank you very much. Welcome, Jose, JS Self Styles, Christina, Brotep, welcome. Thank you for being here. All aboard, welcome. Um, Before I start today's show, you guys know that this week has been crazy for a lot of us, okay? And I'm just gonna say this. Most of us that start YouTube channels, we started with the vision of bringing our areas of expertise into the mainstream so that people can benefit from our knowledge, which is why I started my channel. I don't know about the rest, but many of you guys know I'm very good friends with Bro Tap and Radical Latino. And I believe that that's also why they started their channel. They saw an opportunity. They were, that was their area of expertise, and they decided to just, share their knowledge with people that probably did not know. Now, I will say this. Shout out to you, Radical Latino. Um, we're not going to, make reactions. I know many of you guys have reached out to me about stuff that has happened backstage or probably on stage. However, this channel is strictly for business and for people that actually want better outcomes and want to have the right mindset. So I know I will not be addressing any situation that's external. Let the circus be the circus, and let's get down to business. Now, with that being said, also please do not use my content. I'm sorry, without written permission. So if you get a copyright strike, you guys know I always put the disclaimer since the first day I started this. So if you get a strike, don't be surprised if they take your channel or your content, because I warn y'all. Reach out to me. I always put my Instagram, my email. You don't have to upload. Like, I've seen videos uploading my whole content for hours. You can always contact me and I decide if I want you to use my content. I work very hard for content and for producing stuff that's more entertaining. Please reach out to me if you want to use my content, and I will decide if I want to or not. Now, before we get to the news, like I said, let's start the weekend and get your drinks together, get your snacks together, because we're going to have a very interesting show.
Take it to the next level.
Woo! Anyway, guys, so today we're starting with some news of stuff that has developed on my beautiful island, Puerto Rico. As many of you guys know, I like to discuss news first, and then we get to the main topic. I'm going to start. There's a good news and some not so good. So I'm going to start with the good news because we need to get into the weekend mode. Now, many of you guys know that I have brought, many information regarding feminicides. And you guys know, if you watch my streams, you know that I discuss the Andrea Ruiz Costa's case and how the courts in Puerto Rico mismanaged her case and literally thrown out her whole case because they thought she was probably lying or making it up or whatever the reason they had. But what they did was that they exposed her without any restraining order or anything like that to her abuser. And later on, unfortunately and very sadly, she was found dead and burned by her ex of 8 months. Now, as a result of that, the president of the Supreme Court, Maite Oronoz, in Puerto Rico, today decided to make some sort of improvement. And yes, I will share it with you guys. Now, what she did is that she created a network of judges in the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico so that they can exchange information and experiences and different approaches that they can provide or they have implemented in cases involving abuse in romantic relationships. So basically, now judges are going to have to exchange information regarding what they did in different cases, how they evaluated restraining orders petitions, how they assess the victim. And they're going to start restructuring basically the system on, I'm sorry, how they basically help or provide tools for the victims of domestic violence. So for those who have followed, like I said before, the feminicides in Puerto Rico, you guys know this is a crisis. A state of emergency was declared in January, yet still we're having literally every week one woman gets killed. And I don't know if you guys have been in touch with it, but now even men are disappearing. So this has become a very notorious crisis in our island, unfortunately, and the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico is taking measurements on that. So that is a very positive note, and I'm excited to see the results. Like I said, uh, it's been decades in the making. Okay, this is not something that just happened this year or the year before, or it's not something that started with the C-19. This has been in the making for a long time. Hi, Morena and Blood Moon, welcome. So now, far from that, right, on the more darker side of the spectrum, we all know that in life, when you start doing positive things, especially when those things are against the norm or the majority, most of the times you get pushback. But there is pockets in our society of people that lack the mental capacity and the mental health to actually assess their differences by communicating with each other. And unfortunately, that was the case with our former governor candidate, Eliezer Molina. Now, Eliezer Molina, in the news today, well, basically it was yesterday, but today was when they published it. Shout out to Primera Hora for providing me with the info. Eliezer Molina is telling people today that regarding his case, this man got threatened, and the FBI called him and decided to tell him, hey, somebody is plotting to kill you and we need to interview you. Now, today, he's expressing that after his interview with the CIC in Puerto Rico, which is a department of basically the detectives, and also the FBI in Puerto Rico, that there are people in the politics, in Puerto Rican politics, that are part of this conspiracy to have him assassinated. Okay? Now, I want to expand on who Eliezer Molina is. And, oh Lord, Eliezer Molina, where to start? Eliezer Molina is basically a Puerto Rican activist that has been working to restore what was once one of the biggest sources of revenue and basically one of the most prestigious financial infrastructures that we had in Puerto Rico, which is agriculture. He's basically providing resources for the youth to actually get into reclaiming our land from the US and the big corporations so that uh, we can have food sovereignty. So, in doing this, he has stumbled across how many roadblocks and red tape we have to cut through to actually achieve these things. But also, he has noticed how big corporations are often favored when they're requesting the same things that regular Puerto Ricans are requesting, but somehow they manage to get the benefits, but we don't. Now, the problem with Eliezer is that last week he had an altercation because he noticed that also, you guys know that after the typhoon Maria, that people call a hurricane, I don't know why, it was a typhoon, a lot of our coasts started eroding. And because of that, there's a lot of people that had to back away from the coastline and start building their houses a little bit further because we lost some of our coasts. So as a result of that, we have seen that now that the coastlines are like getting a little bit better and the water is coming down after a few years. Now we're seeing again big corporations, developers, and people in high places getting the land for the price of rotten fish and building on top of our beaches lounge pools, lounges, city walks, and stuff like that. And it's damaging our natural resources. So, what he did is that he went to a specific location when they were building a pool without the proper permits. So, he denounced it, and um, the county responded basically ignoring him. So he took to his social media, where he has thousands of followers, myself included. If you don't follow Eliezer Molina, trust me, you want to follow him. He took he took to his social media and started denouncing this, and many other places decided to many other social media activists and people from the media and the news decided to give him a call, and he started doing interviews and explaining what was going on. So when people got a hold of what was going on, they decided to actually intervene and call the proper agencies and governments in the government and actually do a cross interview with him. Basically, in that interview, he embarrassed these people. Okay. And after that, we go to what is now his assassination plot. Yes, there are people in Puerto Rico that decided that this man that even ran for governorship in 2020 because he got fed up, he decided that it was time for a change. It's time for us to reclaim who we are before our island is taken from us. And that irritated some people that actually made this a business. So what it's the next best thing in their opinion? Oh, let's just have the poor man assassinated. So right now, there are some people in, politics in Puerto Rico that have been pointed out. One of them is Tomas Rivera Schatz. I have shared with you guys who this guy is. This is one of the worst politicians we have had for decades in Puerto Rico. And, his involvement is still not clear, but allegedly he's involved in having this man, this activist, assassinated through other channels. So it's very hard to see how people in, that lack the mental health to actually address their differences with people, you know do this type of thing. Is, I mean, you can see it at any scale. We see it here on YouTube, we see it on our day-to-day life, we see it on the news, how people all the time, decide to take matters into their own hands and do crazy stuff because they refuse to sit their asses in therapy. Now, my opinion in the matter, of course, is why we always come to this. There's something that, irritates me a lot, is that I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but every time somebody, either a leader, an activist, or somebody that's trying to, go against the grain, just because they wanna, you know, support their community and look out for the betterment of our people, why we always have our own people, pockets of our own people, because these are not the majority, pockets of our own people being rats and trying to backstab our leaders, our heroes. This man is one of our heroes. Yes, he might not be perfect. Yes, his delivery might be rough around the edges. Yes, he might be rude to some people. However, does that take away from his message? Does that take away from the fact that he is right? Does that take away from the fact that we need to take care of our natural resources? Does that make the corporations that are taking advantage of us change their mind and now all of a sudden be benevolent? No, he has to be this way. Unfortunately, we have tried marching. We have tried, yes, violence. We have tried letters. We have tried reaching out to Congress. We have tried so many things. So, what's the next thing? Well, we have to teach our people how to become sovereign of their own lives, of their own future, the builders of their own future, not only for us, because we're already in midlife, basically. Yes, I'm in my 30s, but I mean, God knows, who knows how long I'm going to last, but mostly for our kids and our grandkids. It starts today. Now I see that Self Styles says, being like that since forever. We haven't had a true leadership since Pedro Albizu Campos. Yes, definitely. I mean, we had Filiberto, but we all know what happened to Filiberto. Okay, Filiberto Ojeda was also a machetero that decided that the way he wanted to protest this overtaking was through violence. And he did that until he was old and the FBI had him assassinated in his house, claiming that he had a gun. Now, we can all apply this, and I will say this in the best way I can. We are not living in the 1960s or the 1980s or 1940s. We're in 2021. The new breed of Latinos that we're seeing, we're smarter than this. At least a pocket of us, right? And the way we're going to assess situations, if you take one of our leaders down, guess what? Each one of us realized by seeing our leaders being assassinated that we all can be heroes. We all can be leaders. So they're not going to accomplish anything, which is why I always, try to empathize in the fact we all have to learn things from a financial standpoint so that we can become more free instead of just complaining or romanticizing the past. We have to move forward, and the way to do it is, for example, what Eliezer is doing. He ran for governor. He decided to be the change. And if we have to learn something from this man, aside from his flaws, or if he's rude, or if he's problematic, or whatever we want to call it, what we can learn from Eliezer Molina is that this man is a go-getter. This man decided to be the change. And that is something that goes back to our topic today. Our main topic today is the lie that Latinos have believed, part 2. Now, whew, with that being said, this is the lie that many Latinos, not only Puerto Ricans, have believed. We have believed that if we dug and work hard, we will make things happen. And don't get me wrong, there's no shame in being like that. However, look at the last 60 years of Latinos following this path. What we're seeing is 3 families living in the same apartment. We're seeing our families being divided, deported, abused, marginalized. So, obviously, writing letters, like I said before, marching, chanting, has proven to not be effective. So, grinding is not necessarily the equivalent to success. Okay. And I'm not saying that grinding is not a part of it, but it's not the only part of it. Education and corporate literacy is. That is the only way we can make our stereotype of being the servitude change. For those that my dissenters that love to say all kinds of stuff, and then they come for me, oh, you're a fat B, or you're this, and that. I have a mirror. I know these things. Now let's get back to business. Where are your results and where are my results? What are you doing to teach our people how to be business owners, how to be entrepreneurs, how to be financially independent, how to progress compared to what I am doing? This is not even about me anymore. This is about our people. This is about so many millions of us out there struggling to find answers we don't have. There's a lot of people out there that literally do not know how to make it. We're seeing a lot of people that are going through financial struggles because of the C-19. We're seeing a lot of people that are losing their homes. A lot of people that literally we lost here in California 1.3 million jobs. Only 200,000 has been regenerated. We don't know how many of those will fully be created again. So the only options that we have right now is to become educated in what will give us prosperity. If we don't do that, we will always be prone for being taken advantage of. So, with that being said, the lie that Latinos have believed, in my opinion, is that you just have to come here, work hard, and you will make the American dream. The American dream has become a nightmare for Latinos. We have to create our own dream individually, as a family, and eventually as a community, because the basic unit of a community is a family. Many groups of family form a community, many communities form a society. And if we want to change, we have to become knowledgeable in these things. We have to start from zero, take a look back at our lives, and stop being the servitude all the time. That's the stereotype. And like I've always said in many, many streams before, and in other streams that I have joined, we have so much to give. But we need the money. We need to stay ahead of the curve in order for us to progress. And that is the problem. So, like I said, just like Eliezer Molina is doing, we can follow his example. Like I said, this man is not necessarily the most wealthy or the most knowledgeable of things. He doesn't have the Dalai Lama's character. He might not be perfect, but his plan has been proven to work. And we have to analyze individuals like Eliezer Molina and understand, hey, what is he doing that works that we can adapt to our lives? Instead of me being the employee, how can I become an asset to myself? And that is what we're seeing right now with a few Latinos that are waking up and unplugging from this matrix of just working for an employer and becoming the employer. We have to be the solution and the freedom for our people through financial gains, whether people like it or if people hate it. Like I said at the beginning, let the circus be the circus, but we have to get into business. We have to realize that we have been lied to. We have been lied to by media. We have been lied to by other people in our community. We have been lied to by many people around us telling us that we cannot do this, that we don't have the capacity, or that we don't have the money, or we don't have the avenues, or that we should focus on something else. We should focus on gaining the financial freedom, and the rest will follow. Now, I'm going to open the call lines, and like you guys know, like I usually said, the views and the statements of the guest do not necessarily represent those of the channel and are those of the other panel members. Some comments might be offensive to selective groups of people. Also, let's not forget that by calling into the live shows, you waive your rights to the use of your image and likeness for the purposes of the show. Also, know that if I don't know you, you have to cam up. Okay? If not, you're not going to be on the live stream. I'm going to drop the link. If you think I'm full of shit, if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm crazy, if you think we don't have to become corporate literate, if you think that we should just hold ourselves and pull ourselves by the bootstraps instead of learning the way of the land, call in and let me know how I'm wrong and we will figure it out. Now, before we do this, I already dropped the link. You guys know we always go into intermission for a few minutes. Now, like I said, grab your drinks, grab your snacks. Let's make it happen. Let's have a conversation. But before I go into intermission, I want to congratulate Jose Negron for winning the giveaway. Okay, so thank you very much, Jose. I already got in touch with him to send him his giveaway. Stay tuned for future giveaways. And here, we don't just give a shout out, we give back to our people. So as a token of appreciation, like I said, I'll be doing more giveaways and bigger giveaways in the future. If you want to participate, make sure you like and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram. Follow me here on YouTube so that you can stay connected. Now, without any further ado, we're going to go into intermission. And when I'm back, we will be back with arguments that, like I said, if you think I'm full of shit, if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, call in. I have no problems with anybody. Just call in and I'll hear you out. Now, it's 4:45 here where I'm at. So I will be back at 4:50. And we are back from our intermission. I hope you guys have gotten your drinks, your snacks, everything. And welcome, Jose. How are you, Jose?
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to see you.
It is a pleasure to see you too. Congratulations on winning the giveaway. Thank you for your support. Like I said, I like to give back to the people that always support me and give me all their support from day one. So I'm glad that you participated. So thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you. And actually, you're becoming my most favorite female YouTuber
Thank
on the whole
you.
platform.
Thank you very much. Give me 1 second, Jose. Morena, yes, Morena. You have my permission. Like I said, I told this to Terrell. He has my full authorization to let the circus out of here. Now let's continue, Jose. What do you think of the topic today where I'm telling that Latinos, I was speaking that Latinos have to become their own solution to our problems?
I believe we're gonna be one or two options. We're either gonna be part of the solution or part of the problem.
Definitely.
It's very easy to get on a soapbox and complain how things are so bad for us as a community. Okay. So my question is, what are you doing? Okay. To try to make things a little better. And I'm going to apply it to myself. Okay. And in my case, what is Jose Negron doing to try to make things better, not just for himself, but for the Latino community?
Exactly.
And what I try to do is I try to be educated on what's going on. Not just what's going on here in New York, but here in this country, also in Latin America. And actually, I came across the definition of what's called Stockholm Syndrome. And basically, okay, what it is the following. It is a psychological response. It occurs when hostages or abuse victims bond with their captors or abusers. This psychological connection develops over the course of days, weeks, months, or even years at captivity or abuse.
Okay.
And now the reason why I bring this up, first of all, disclaimer, I'm not a psychiatrist. Okay.
Neither of us.
Okay. But God gave us the ability to analyze things logically.
Yes.
Okay. And what I find it amazing how certain members of our community can go gaga over Spain. When you think about it, the Spanish came to what's currently known as Latin America. And what they did Now, since I cannot use the R word, I'm going to use this term. Made the female members of the indigenous people and then later the Africans involuntary sperm recipients.
Expand that. Expand.
Okay. Well, since I cannot say the R word, okay, because your channel may get flagged. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Spanish came to the Caribbean, Latin America, and even parts of the United States. Many of them did not bring women.
Okay.
Okay, so being men that had carnal urges, what did they do? They decide, you know what? I'm going to have relations with the female members of the population. Which explains why you have different shades of Latinos.
Yeah.
Why you have some Latinos which are pitch black. You have some Latinos that are like almost partial white. And then you have those are in between. The fact of the matter is we're all part of a mixed group.
Yeah.
With three main influences: Spain, the indigenous people, and Africa. So when the Spanish couldn't continue to have relations with the female members of the indigenous people, when they brought Africans as slaves, what they did? They satisfy their urges with African females.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and that's the reality of it. And when I see certain individuals, and I prefer not to name any names, but we all know, certain individual that constantly gets this glorification over Spain to the detriment of forgetting the other parts that they make up. It's very sad. Excuse me, I'm just having coffee, so.
No, don't worry. Trust me, I have my water here and everything.
Okay.
It's Friday. It's Friday. The weekend has officially started.
And actually, you know what? It was a pleasant surprise. I actually won. Not only that, but you actually liked some of my videos that I posted on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, it was a surprise to me. But you know what? As it's been stated, I try to be positive. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post positive stuff on my social media.
Yes.
Okay. Because even before the pandemic, there's been a lot of sadness in the world. There's a lot of people that are hurt. So when the pandemic came, it was basically sadness on steroids.
Definitely. It expanded. I believe that, C-19 basically expanded the problems that we already had.
Yes. And to me, people like George Floyd and other people that were killed simply because they were different, to me, they're just as much as the victims of COVID-19 as everything else.
Yeah.
Because what this pandemic has brought out the worst of people.
Yeah.
And another aspect with this lie is that some people have issues with strong women. And I know I sound like a broken record. I'm sorry for that.
No, Jose, trust me. We can never get enough of that statement. Mm-hmm. Never.
Yeah. And when I see, some of the women on YouTube, they're being called out for this thing, that thing, and not being real. I mean, I would say to first of all, try using the little brain cells that God gave you and analyze what it is that they're saying. Okay?
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with it, and that's fine. But if you're going to state an argument, be prepared to have some information to back you up. Now, when you had that debate with Chi, it actually inspired me to look into the definition. What is the difference between Hispanic and Latino? And there is a difference. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, everything's based on Google. So,
Yeah.
okay. Basically, the way I perceive it, being Hispanic referring to those who speak the Spanish language. And that could include people not necessarily from the Latino culture. Latinos would refer to people that came from Latin American countries, like Puerto Rico, Mexico, the Central and South America. Okay. Also, I had the privilege of visiting some Latin American countries. I visited Mexico, I visited Colombia, I visited Panama, and I visited the Dominican Republic twice.
Yeah, so you have more expanded your horizons and see the actual truth.
And and the fact of the matter is, what I really appreciate about Mexico, it makes me appreciate how little we know about Mexico, and how much we don't appreciate their influence. And one thing I've done, unlike most Americans, prior to visiting a country, try to study up and see what their customs are like. Because I don't want to be known as the ugly American, or as we say it, el americano muy feo. So, and the fact of the matter is, once you do spend time, try to do a little research in the countries that you're going to visit it, you're going to appreciate it more.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So,
Yeah, it's like I said, it's something that, if you think about it, we have to do these things, and like you did, to go and explore our countries before we actually, come to the conclusion of what we need or we don't need. Because like you mentioned at the beginning, I do agree with you that we have fell in love with our oppressor, or our perpetrator, let's just say that.
yeah.
And instead of focusing so much on that, as many centuries have passed from that, it's time for us to be our own solution. It's time for us to hold ourselves by our own feet. And the way we do that, the usual way that us in the Latino community do that, is by taking whatever job and stay there and make it a career. And that has proven to not be the best way for us to prosper as a whole, because many of our people are just literally struggling. Literally 80% of Latinos are one paycheck away of hunger, or being thrown out of their house, or owing, thousands of dollars. So, like I said, the way that we can become what we're supposed to be, the way that we can keep up so that we don't go back to the old days when people were able to take advantage of our resources, is to first get the mindset right. That's the first thing. That's why always, every time I be very adamant about this, and this is one of my pet peeves, The first thing we have to take care of is our brain, ladies and gentlemen. We
Mm-hmm.
have to take care of our mental state. If your mind is not right, you're going to do crazy things, or you're going to go in circles and not address the real situation. Once your mindset is right, once your mental state is adequate to handle stress, to handle ups and downs, to handle the actual hustle of getting to where we have to go, then you can start writing. Because nobody is born, you know, lazy. We're made lazy, quote unquote lazy, because the problems that we have, the mental issues that we have, and the baggage and the trauma we go through in a lifetime, even to our 20s. I was reading an article the other day by the Columbia University, and they were explaining that it would take us till the age 50 to actually declutter our brain from all the trauma we suffer in childhood, from parenting. So
Yeah.
I'm like, if it take us close from 18, which is the actual development of an adult, if we go by what psychologist says and human development, right? At 18 years old is when you become the full version of yourself, with flaws and everything. So if we go by that, it takes you from 18 to 50. We're talking 32 years it takes you to actually cleanse the baggage from childhood. I don't even want to imagine what happens. When are you going to declutter the baggage that you create in your 20s, when you make the classic mistakes we all make in order for us to become better and stronger and wiser and more knowledgeable? So it's like I said, when we go through all of these things and we don't assess the mind first, the thing that teaches you how to be an assertive human being, how to be coherent, how to be relevant, how to act intentionally in life, we're going to stay at the bottom because you're not in the right mindset to even start this journey. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're seeing a lot of our people being at the bottom, being in the servitude, being, divisive, being disrespectful to each other,
Mm-hmm.
being, focusing on the wrong things that will really not amount to anything and not helping each other. And that's how we disintegrate our community, by doing these things, which is why I said you are responsible for yourself, but also you are part of our ethnic image. And our ethnic image right now is the servitude. And that's something that the only way we can shake it off is by not being the servitude. And the only way we can shake that off is becoming the owner. We have
Mm-hmm.
to become the bank owner. We have to become the lender. We have to become the employer. We have to become the corporate leader, the CEOs.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I say these things, I do not know what in the brain of certain people does not click, that they don't understand that that is the path that we have to go. And then they go to these broad spectrums of like the things that America has done, America this, America that, and they continue on that loop. And on that loop, many of our people is falling through the cracks,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
we never go out of it.
Yeah.
Never. And that is
And
what keeps the Stockholm syndrome alive.
yeah. And the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of things bad about the United States, but there are things that are positive. The fact of the matter is the diversity, the fact that you have people from all over the world, the fact that if you apply yourself, you're able to to achieve. I mean, like in my case, I'm the first member of my family to graduate from college, so I've been able to remain gainfully employed as a municipal employee for almost 22 years. I have taken exams for promotion. I have been blessed to have one promotion, and I'm not going to stop because I want to advance myself as much as possible. And one thing that people fail to understand that a strong female can be an asset. Okay,
Yeah.
because when when you have a lady that's strong, that's outspoken, that's not fearful, and backs you up, you can conquer the world. Unfortunately, some people have this concept that women should be meek. They shouldn't say anything. They shouldn't just be in three places: the kitchen, the living room, and the bedroom.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. And and I hate to say this, but God save me from dim-witted people. I mean, I mean, I don't mean this. I don't mean to sound judgmental, but life is so short. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, people perish through lack of knowledge, and
Yeah.
I mean the good knowledge.
Mhm.
When I mean good knowledge, it's like, knowledge that's going to enable you to get the tools that you need in order to be a productive member of society, to be a productive member in your community. And the fact of the matter is, I'm fortunate that I have been able to achieve what I'm able to achieve. I've made my mistakes along the way. Everyone has.
Of course, that's how we learn.
Exactly. Exactly. And the fact of the matter is, if the United States will no longer exist, the problems that we have a lot in America is going to continue.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still gonna have to feed people. We're still gonna have to house people. We're still gonna have to clothe people and employ people. So it's
Yes.
like I said, it's a misconception that many of us have, that that we have to unplug from this matrix. And it's crazy because something funny that I have found in our community is that in certain spaces in our communities, when people usually say that we have the victim mentality, yet we are the ones going out and getting it. It seems to me that they have the victim mentality because they're still blaming the US when they have the opportunity to actually do something. But instead of doing, they're complaining and plotting and doing a lot of things that are just ridiculous. And that is exactly what's gonna cost us. And what's sad is that by the time they realize that this was a mistake and that they wasted their time, they're already 55. And at
And
55, there's no much you can actually do.
yeah. And the fact of the matter is, and it was kind of painful in a way to hear Guillermo talk about death to the United States, death to America. It's like that's going to be like the magic cure all. It is not. And what drives me crazy is, you speak so ill about the United States, but yet you're profiting by being here.
Yeah.
So it's either be part of the solution or part of the problem. I mean, you can't. I mean, and it's just basically what I call a table rebel. Just talk, 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 talk. But I don't hear, I mean, not in any part of the discourse did I hear his solution. His only solution is basically death to the United States. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. The fact of the matter is, there are things that you can do to try to improve this situation. Okay. And we need to get past this blame America thing.
Yeah, and not only that, it's one thing that I wish more Latinos would know is either you're here by choice, by circumstances, or by whatever other nature. You have to understand that you have to know the way of the land
Mm-hmm.
and get used to it and know how to work it.
Yeah.
And we have not mastered how to work it. And that is the problem. We go around and avoid it and go in like this mental gymnastics on how to explain and justify things that don't matter, instead of just getting into the core and actually be the solution. How? Being our own bosses, being our own, owners of our stuff. Actually, another thing, trademarking our things. Now everybody is selling our food, is selling our culture. Like, I can give you an example. Look at Coco, what Disney did.
Mhm.
Do you really think that the Mexican population here, in its vast majority, in the bulk, benefited from the movie? No. But who watched it the most? Latinos.
Mhm.
So when are we gonna start owning our identity and
Mhm.
charging people, hey, if you want to use my identity, then you have to pay me.
Yes.
If you want to use my country to film, you have to pay me. If you want to use my culture, you have to pay me, because unfortunately the world doesn't run on your religious beliefs. The world doesn't run in love. The world doesn't run on anything else but money. When the world runs on something else, then we will go for something else. The world works and runs on currency, on
Mhm.
money, dinero.
Yeah.
So that's what you gotta get. Now I have Guillermo here. Hi, Guillermo. How
Hey,
you doing?
I'm doing okay. I just wanted to talk to our friend Jose here because he's making some serious accusations I'd like to clear up.
Okay.
What you would like to clear up?
So, what is your main problem with me? Why are you upset that I say I make actual salient points about the United States that's like objectively true?
Okay. The issue is not that you're making points that are true. I
So you
mean,
agree I'm telling the truth
okay,
about
okay,
America?
okay, okay. If I can just continue. The issue that I have is the analogy that if the United States were to disappear, all the problems that were happening in Latin America would disappear as well.
I never
Now,
claimed that.
first of all, I'm going to state, yes, this country has done a lot of bad things in this country. The
No
way
shit.
that, the way that we mistreated the indigenous people, it's a crime. The way that we treated the Africans is a crime. The way that we treated people who are different from us, it's a crime.
You did
Okay.
that? That was
Okay.
you? That was your ancestors?
Okay. Well, if you're going to interrupt me, I mean, I cannot continue.
Well,
I
my
mean,
only problem is you're trying to take the blame for something that white Americans of Anglo-Saxon stock primarily did. It's just a weird mindset for me to have. Like you're the child of immigrants, are you not?
yes, I am.
So that's my only point. It's like you didn't genocide the Indians. You didn't do that to the Africans here. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. Okay. But the way, and I wish, and I wish I would have an opportunity that I had last week, to try to have a cordial discussion. Okay. But it's just that you discuss a lot about how democracy doesn't work. First of all, there's no political system that's perfect. And if we do find a political system that's perfect, we're going to screw it up because that's how human nature is. But yeah, in all the discourse, I mean, I did not see your response how to deal with this except to death to America.
Well, nobody asked. I mean, I was just giving my opinion on the matter, which is absolutely death to America. I mean, this is an evil country. It's got to go. And I think something new that's better for people of all races, religions, ethnicities in the United States would be able to formulate afterwards in a post-American world. That
But
was
don't
my
you
only
think?
argument.
But don't you think, Guillermo? Like, for example, let's say you're from Colombia, right?
That is
Let's
correct.
say let's say somebody doesn't like Colombia, and they say, they're to Colombia, and without thinking or taking you guys into consideration, they just go ahead with their plan, and it turns out to be worse. How about that? Have you thought about Americans, good Americans that live here, millions and millions of them?
Well, I would argue that America as a country does not benefit the small amount of Americans who actually understand what's going on in the world and want to improve both their well-being and the well-being for their own family. See, the problem is America is an evil country that destroys people. I mean, it literally strips people of their organic ethnicities whenever they come here and turns them into this generic blob that just says, I'm white, I'm black, I'm brown, instead of actually having a real ethnic identity. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is this isn't good for anybody unless you're a super ultra rich multinationalist capitalist billionaire who doesn't have any loyalty to any sort of people, and that he can move from
I'm a
New York to Vienna
capitalist.
to,
I'm a capitalist, so I can't really agree necessarily with you on that one, but I respect your opinion. But I'm a capitalist because capitalism, many people see the negatives of capitalism, but the opposition of capitalism is socialism.
correct.
And to be honest with you, capitalism is what makes America the quote unquote land of opportunity, because the more people consume, the more business also thrive. This is like a monopoly game. It's how much money you can get from the capitalism without having to have money put out. That's why I started this channel, so that people can learn how to keep their money in their pockets more instead of putting it out. But that circulation of money that's constantly circulating all the time, that's capitalism. And it's only possible, all the opportunities that we have in the employments and all this stuff is only possible because people have to consume. So I'm a capitalist.
So you support this disgusting system that advocates for payday loans, which preys on people in our community and in other communities. That is capitalism. Usury is capitalism. Tell me how it's not. Tell me how acting like a loan shark is not intrinsically capitalistic.
Let me refrain again what I said. Reiterate it. The reason I started this channel is because capitalism, like socialism, has positive and negatives. And the problem is that when people don't know how to thrive in a specific system, like for example, if I were to be put in a socialist environment, I would not be able to thrive because it's not to my liking.
You wouldn't be able to thrive in China?
No, I won't. Okay. That's the reality. So because I do not agree with socialism and their views, in my opinion, of course, I need to learn to the best of my ability on how to thrive in capitalism, because it's a system that, in my opinion, works better. So with that being said, the whole payday loans and all this stuff is because people do not know how to thrive in capitalism. So they use the patch of loans to actually help themselves achieve some stuff. But in reality, payday loans, if you know how to thrive in capitalism, you don't see people that are more financial savvy having to get these loans. Why? Yeah, because they have learned the way of the land.
People don't have good education in this country. I mean, the people that run this country understand that they don't learn anything in schools, and then they prey on them. Like, that's the way capitalism works. It's the people who own all the capital, the majority of the capital, but conspire together in order to run the economy in a way that's going to fuck over like 95% of the rest of the population.
But isn't that freedom though? Because you're giving people that
information. I mean, that's not freedom to me.
Look. You have the opportunity to actually learn these things. That's not being censored. I have yet to see financial education being censored. As a matter of fact, in every city of the United States, there's an SBA office that will teach you how to be your own business owner for free. So, like I said, this whole thing about capitalism being completely wrong and being evil. It is wrong for people that do not agree. Now, I do not believe that we have to promote death to a system that many people like myself love and thrive in it.
Well, I say death to America. Why don't I ask you this, Denise? Let's say you want to compete with Walmart and you want to open up a grocery store next to Walmart. What's going to happen to you? You think you're going to beat Walmart? You think you're going to beat them at their own game if you open up a grocery store right next to them?
If you open up, this is the first thing. When you have a business plan, you know that you don't open that next to Walmart when you're starting. You open it close to a lot of group of homes that are further, a little bit more further, closer to the community that's more residential, so that people have the convenience that you're closer. You don't put it in Walmart when people had to drive probably 5 to 6 or even 10 miles to get to Walmart, because you want to take advantage of the people that don't want to go further and actually make a profit. Both can survive, Walmart and me.
Okay, so let's say in this makeup scenario, you open up a grocery store in a more rural community filled with your people. Walmart sees this and they open up a Walmart next to your store. What do you do now?
Come again?
So let's say you do whatever you're preaching. You go to a place where there aren't many stores. You open up your own little grocery store. Walmart notices that you just did that. So just to spite you, they put up Walmart right next to your store. How do you compete now?
By the time Walmart can build a Walmart, can promote a Walmart, and open a Walmart next to me, that's probably a year.
Okay.
So
Let's say you had a whole year to prepare. What do you do?
Exactly. What you do is that you, at that point in that first year, at least you have had to have a 5% increase. What you do is that you either incentivize people, stimulate them to buy marginal products to expand the average ticket of spending that people have with you, and compete with prices. Because at that point, it's past a year, you have made all the mistakes already, you have minimized your risk and your loss, and you're incentivizing the customers so you can have returning customers, and you have a customer base already. And what you do is that you price things a little cheaper, that you have things that are not available in Walmart, that you emphasize in customer service so people can feel more welcome and more in touch and more part of the business. You also, on top of that, provides more speedy service or other services that Walmart doesn't provide. It's about competing. That's what capitalism is. You compete.
Awesome. So can you give me some examples of people who have had their own stores that have successfully been able to compete with franchises such as Walmart and Amazon in the US? I'd like to hear some examples of what you mean, just
for example,
actual specific ones.
Okay, Newegg. Newegg competes with Amazon and it's been successful for 6 years.
Newegg is a joke compared to Amazon financially.
No, financially.
I've been using Newegg for over 10 years.
Hold on. Newegg, you told me, provide a company that has competed with Amazon. I'm not saying that you have to compare it to Amazon. You're never going to be the level of Amazon. But do you think Newegg is closing down anytime soon, or that they don't make millions and millions of dollars?
I know that mass layoffs have been occurring across the board. Competitors of these companies.
I answered the question with what I said. Is Newegg making millions of dollars? Yes or no?
The shareholders are at the expense of the employees who are being massively laid off. Yes.
Again, is Newegg making millions of dollars?
The shareholders are, yes.
But then they are making it because the shareholders were the ones that put in the money and actually be the boss. They're the boss. That's what I said. We can coexist in America's capitalism if we know how to work the system. And I just proved to you with a simple answer, you can survive. Newegg has been surviving next to Amazon. People love it. As a matter of fact, they expanded 25% last year.
Not only that, if you look at Newegg, this is, from what I'm looking at, this is founded by a very rich Chinese guy who, has a lot of capital at his hands.
That's immaterial, Guillermo.
He's a literal billionaire. So you need to be a billionaire to even somewhat compete with Amazon. I mean, that just proves my point even further, honestly.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, just have $1 billion.
No. Just because he started that, he did not put $1 billion into starting Newegg. Look it up.
Never claimed he did.
No, exactly. But that's the thing. You don't have to have $1 billion because he did not need $1 billion to establish it. That's what I'm saying. It's a free market.
You definitely need a good amount of capital.
Etsy. No, you just need a platform.
Also, you claim there's a free market. Most libertarians would disagree with you and would say that we don't have a free market.
Let me finish. Don't overtalk me. Now, Newegg, Etsy, eBay, those things are free markets too. Let Go is a free market. There's a lot of places that are a free market, just like Amazon, and they make millions and millions and millions of dollars. That's what I'm saying. When people say, hey, you can't compete with this place. That's low self-esteem that we have to unlearn and sit our asses in therapy so that we can become the owners of something. Even if it's a little niche that makes you $10,000 a month, you're way better than making either above minimum wage or in the middle of minimum wage or minimum wage. It's way better. So it's like I said, you can thrive. You just have to learn how to.
I'm not saying nobody can thrive under this. I'm actually thriving quite well under this economy. I just don't think like 99% of people who grew up in a similar circumstance to me are going to be able to do the same, is what I'm primarily concerned about.
Yeah,
Most
but you
people just
think
don't
that,
get how the economy operates.
but this is the thing. They're not willing to, they're not gonna thrive because America doesn't have the opportunities available, or because they're not knowledgeable and they don't want to educate themselves in this. Let's be honest. Let's be genuine.
I mean, it's very hard to find the esoteric information needed in order to be able to do well for yourself, and most people don't have the mental capacity to do so. Like, it's just the reality that we live in.
You said two things: mental capacity and education. Mental capacity you can obtain from any mental health care provider, and the education I just told you, you can get it at the SBA for free. You just have to be willing to take the classes.
By mental capacity, I meant like just intelligence. Like you're kind of
So
just
you're saying
given.
that Latinos are dumb?
I'm saying Americans in general. No,
No, I'm
I
talking.
mean,
This is talking about how Latinos can
most people
go
in the
further.
world are dumb, Latinos included. Yes,
Well,
would
I
say
don't
that.
agree with you on that. I think Latinos have a lot to give.
Dumb doesn't mean, or uneducated doesn't mean you're a bad person, but people
No, no,
all
no,
across
no, no.
race,
I mean,
ethnicity, they're
as a
not very
potential.
smart. That's the reality of the situation.
Well, I disagree with you on that. I think Latinos just have not had the resources made available to them, or a path that they can follow to those resources.
Also, again, most people that say they're capitalists like you actually whine all the time and say that we don't live under a free market. They point out several actual salient examples of the government working hand in hand, getting subsidies, or with corporations like Amazon, like all these other giants like Walmart. They get subsidies from the U.S. government to keep them afloat every single time. Like just last year, for example, when the stock market crashed, Trump just bailed them out with trillions of dollars at the drop of a hat. Didn't even need congressional approval. Like, this
I
is what
agree
these
with
people are
that.
talking about. It's that we don't have a free market. The government decides who's going to be the winners and who the losers are going to be. Like, and this is how it's always been for most of American history.
But that, like I said, Guillermo, that is part of a mentality that people have believed is a lie. Because, like I just proved it to you, there's a lot of people that have started from zero. As a matter of fact, go in the SP 500, and out of that SP 500, the majority of those corporations, when you trace them back and how they started, they did not started with a lot of stuff. Even Tesla, Elon Musk, you know how he started
Elon
the
Musk
company?
literally gets subsidies from the
but
from
he
the
was
government.
not always.
He's literally an African American welfare queen. If you honestly look at him,
Can I continue?
he's an African American welfare queen. That's Elon Musk.
Guillermo, if you overtalk me, I'm gonna have to boot you. But this is the thing. Elon Musk, if you look at his work ethics, that man works 18 hours per day. Elon Musk, before he started his career as we know him today, for a whole year fed himself a hot dog a day so
His
that he
father
could
owned
say,
a mining
hold
company
on,
in
hold
South
on,
Africa.
hold
He
on,
owned coal
hold on.
mines.
If you overtalk me one more time, I'll boot you out. He had to feed himself a hot dog so that he can prove himself to see if he could survive with $1 a day.
His father owned a diamond factory in South Africa. He is not from a.
Okay, this is the problem, people.
Yes.
This is the problem. This is what I'm talking about with, the whole situation. We have a problem with our mental state. Our mental state is not in place. You guys see how I keep bringing the receipts and he keeps moving the goalpost. Oh, first, no, debt of America, capitalism. I explain how capitalism can be beneficial. Then is the problem like, oh, you can, open a store next to Walmart. I explained to him how I will do it. And then like, what if Walmart comes to you? I explained to him how he does it. And then the goalpost keeps being moved. Oh, like nobody can beat Amazon, as if Amazon is the only free market we know. And I present Newegg. And there's a lot. There's thousands of free markets out there. There's eBay, there's Etsy, there's Newegg, there's many of them. And then he keeps moving the goalposts because in reality, he does not want to accept, hey, we have a mindset of always playing the victim of America. And in reality, what we're trying to say is you have to break out of that and learn how to thrive. If you do not like it, unfortunately, we still love you, but you have to go to another country that has a different system to your liking. Because You cannot be calling the death to a system that benefits a lot of other people. Now I see Afro Latin X here. Hold on.
Okay. I just like to give my 2 cents, if I may.
Yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
what we see in this situation, you're hitting Guillermo with facts, and he couldn't accept them. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, it's all part of the blame America concept. Okay. Like I said before, the United States has done a lot of harm. Okay.
Mhm.
But what you can do is you can continue to moan and complain, or you can do something to try to be part of the solution. Okay.
Yeah, because look, this is the problem that we have had so far in Latin America and Latinos here in general, is that we keep looking at the rich people and like, oh, my situation is because of them. No, rich people, the majority, they say 85% of millionaires in America today are self-made millionaires. There were
Mhm.
people that were just like you and me. So
Yeah.
if they are living proof that what they are promoting, these groups of people in Latin America or the Latino community here are promoting is not true. Otherwise, why we have self-made millionaires? Were they founded by the German government? Were they funded by billionaire parents? Were they trust fund babies? Of course not. We just have to grind. First, like I said, go to therapy, get your mind right, and grind. Now,
But
I want to welcome Afro Latin X. How are you?
Hello, how are you,
Welcome to
Denise?
my channel.
good
Uh,
evening.
Good evening. So I guess I wanted to talk about, you guys are talking about capitalism, right?
Hmm.
Like I do agree in a sense that like there is like a lack of education when it comes to like how to be successful in the system.
Hmm.
However, I don't think that this is a good system. Like I do think that our community needs to be educated more in order to be like successful in the system, but I don't think that the system is made for everybody to be successful.
Mhm.
You get what I mean? Like I think we have to learn how to play it, right?
Yes, yes.
um but like we're talking about and specifically like with the Latino community,
Yeah.
they don't really know how to play it. I think a
Mhm.
lot of them like think about coming here and like going to college and getting a degree, and like that's not gonna make you money
Yeah,
in
of course.
in
College
this.
alone, look,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, but college alone, if you follow this path, you will be almost like if you go to college, buy yourself a car and make your first home purchase the way the system is trying to tell the fools that don't want to educate themselves into the system. If you follow that path by the age of 25, you're already almost half a million in debt.
yeah. um However, I don't, like I said before, I don't think that like I don't think that like it is the way to, I guess, like solve the problems that just in general society has. I think if anything, capitalism is what's making the world a worse place. Because capitalism is rooted in, I mean, the start of it was from slavery, and anything that started from slavery is, it just, in my opinion, it
Mhm.
doesn't have a good ending at the end. I mean, and when you think about all the things that have happened because of capitalism, I mean, capitalism is why, like, literally, like, we have, like, pollution in the world, like, really bad pollution. We have inequalities, like, the biggest inequalities you've ever seen throughout human history is because of capitalism. So, not saying that we shouldn't play the system. I just don't think that it's gonna be something that's gonna like, I guess, like change the world. You know what I
But if
mean?
you think about it, I'm gonna say this. We, I get it. There's many things in the past that need to be corrected, And but at some point, when are we going to keep the ball moving? It's like I keep saying, I get it. Our past, the history and the past of this nation, and even in our countries, is not a pretty picture. If anything, is horrible, is deplorable. However, today, capitalism today, it's what we have to work with. Because if we look at China, for example, that's a socialist nation, like Guillermo mentioned before. They still pollute the earth. They still do atrocities to their own people. They still have people that are not going to be able to progress in their system. The majority of them are not. Now, capitalism to a degree is not perfect. Not a single man made system will be. However, is the best that we have discovered so far to actually make something happen where people at least have the opportunity to do something, which is, it's like I said, it's the only thing we got. Unless somebody else designs a system that is different and better, this is what we have to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that we have to work with it, um, and at the same time, maybe develop something new.
Yeah,
Because
eventually we have to start thinking about that, of course.
yeah,
Now, my problem often is for Latinx that, many people, many of my dissenters will come at me with the classic victimhood instead of coming with, hey, I don't like capitalism, but let's replace it with this. I invented the system and I'm gonna, start it this way.
Peace. Can I add on?
Yeah, go ahead. How are you?
Pretty good. How about you? How you doing, sis?
Good, good, bro. What do you have on the topic?
Well, I'm digging the conversation. I just wanted to add on to see to how I see it. I believe we're getting like blurred lines as far as like capitalism and crony capitalism. I definitely agree that we have to work with what we have. However, I do see capitalism as it's outgrowing its purposes. I do believe it served its purpose for its time, as all systems have done prior to it. But I believe as a species we are evolving out of it. And personally, I mean, the way I see it is I'm a capitalist by practice, but I'm not a
Mhm.
capitalist by ideals. So
Yeah.
I personally don't see capitalism as the best system for our species in the current stage where we're at. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I'm a realist, and this is why I agree with what you're saying, because you're a practical thinker and you're dealing with what you have.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that. However, as we are evolving as a species, I do feel like we're at a turning point where we're at a shift of paradigm where we're kind of easing out of capitalism, and I believe it is a necessity in order for us to flourish as a species. Because capitalism to me is like playing musical chairs. Someone's always going to be left out to dry. In order to have a have, you have to have a have-nots. It's just inherent within the system. This is why in the United States of America we have a permanent underclass, which is the African American. If you study our economics and our population growth, you would see that every other ethnic group has risen other than African Americans since 1965, since the end of slavery. They
Mhm.
went from 30 to 40% of the population to about 14%. So if you do the, do the knowledge to eugenics program, you do the Planned Parenthood, hip hop music, there's a conscious effort to keep these numbers down. It's what we call fear of black panic, fear of genetic annihilation, or what some people would say white supremacy, which was inherent in our country today. And all of that is, as the sister was describing earlier, inherent in capitalism. Um, so yeah, that's what I have to say on it. Peace.
I also
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
um, like you were saying, um, I lost my train of thought. but one thing I did want to mention is that like everything you said, I do agree. Um, but like I I think, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Latinos are also not that far behind African Americans when it comes to like building wealth here in America.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with just lack of education. I mean, I work with I'm a teacher, I'm an educator. I work with students, and um my I have seniors now graduating, and juniors, and a lot of them tell me, oh yeah, my mom or my parents want me, and most of my students are Latinos, like literally like 95%. Um, and I've worked with majority Latino students, like 8 years of my teaching career,
Well,
and
that's
majority
nice.
of the parents are so focused on like let my child needs to go and get an education and get a safe, secure job. Like that's the mentality of a lot of Latinos um for their kids. So like without like really understanding how huge the market is and all of the things that our youth can do, like leaving high school. um so I feel like it's a lot of lack of education when it comes to like what kids and growing kids come growing into adults can do when it comes to like making money in this system.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I watch there was a Japanese dude that was explaining. I think this video became viral. I don't know if you guys have watched him, but he says something about how the system educates you to be poor. And even though people, basically have complained about this and brought it to attention, the system still, keep them poor. Don't teach them this stuff. Don't teach people how to, get advantages to the system, how to write off a vehicle, how to, let other people absorb the initial costs of a depreciating asset. Let's not teach people how to, trade in the stock market. Let's not teach people how to write off in taxes. Let's not teach people how to be entrepreneurs, because that is the way that people can be rich. The rich people are not your enemy. Rich people, what they have done, if you look at the problem, is they have created a path that if you literally copy paste it, you will become successful in capitalism. I believe that you might not be a billionaire, but hey, I don't know about you guys, but 6 million still sound good.
And I also think that there's too much like trust in in the education system. There's not enough questioning. Like me personally being in the education system for such a long time, like I always say like I don't know if I'll ever even put my child in like a public school, because like it just don't make no sense, the things that we teach the kids sometimes. um
Yeah.
so like there isn't enough like parents involved in the educational system questioning what we're doing, and on top of not knowing the market as well. And this is specifically when it comes to the Latino community. Like we just hand our kids away and say, yeah, just go learn, and I'm gonna trust what your teachers are teaching you or what the system is teaching you. So
Yeah. And ask no questions.
yeah,
They
no
ask no
questions.
questions. And I've noticed in other communities that are like a little bit better than us, a lot of these parents actually interview their kids and see the indoctrination that they receive in schools, and they literally redoctrinate their kids back into normalcy. And that's something that unfortunately in our communities, because of our lifestyle and many other factors, we don't do it.
Excuse me, may I chime in for a second?
Yeah, go ahead, Jose.
Well, you see, one thing, as the only baby boomer in the panel, I mean, one of the things that we were taught is that it's important to go to college. It's important to get a good education, and it's the key, to get a good job. The fact of the matter is, you can get a good job without necessarily getting a good college education. It all depends, getting marketable job skills. And the fact of the matter is, as an undergrad, my major was business administration, but when I ended up in social services. And the fact of the matter is, for whatever reason, um, I didn't get a job in the business community. But the fact of the matter is, I had a bachelor's degree, I had a brain, and I was bilingual. So I was able to take advantage of the employment opportunities that were there. Um, I worked with the New York State Department of Labor for 4 years. I was in foster care for 5. I've been working for the city of New York for almost 22 years. So basically, I have over 30 years of social service experience. And the fact of the matter is, it's so, you know, it's amazing how, you know, you know, people, they don't take advantage. And unfortunately, they need someone to show them, what are the opportunities as far as education in order to succeed. I mean, in my case, for me to get my own apartment, I had to educate myself regarding the real estate market and things like financial planning and the importance of having some money put away, having a good credit score, and then trying to find a good real estate agent that I can work with. And I had to change agents like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you mentioned that on a couple of streams before.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, I had a goal and I was going to do everything that I can to achieve it. And I think in order for us to succeed, we have to have a vision, and then we have to have the self-discipline that to achieve it, because there are going to be people that are going to tell us, you cannot achieve this, you cannot achieve that. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you have people of color who have managed to achieve many things in an imperfect society like the United States.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest with you, there's many factors that, in my opinion, of course, um make us get to that point, Jose.
Yes.
And which is why I started this channel, because you know it's many factors. And if you guys have watched like my streams before, I've spoken about one of them. It's having kids way too soon, already at 18. A lot of our youth have already kids by the age of
Mm-hmm.
18. A lot of our youth also have kids before even having a career or a financial cushion that they can fall on in case something happens, or a
Mm-hmm.
marriage. A lot of them are not even married, are not, and a lot of them don't have a partner to rely on or raise their kids together. So it's like I said, there's a lot of things that people, do not understand. And the more we push back, we have to realize that the more we push back, the further back we're pushing ourselves back.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to keep talking about these subjects. And I get it. Some of these things sting, they hurt. You might have become, you might have made some of these mistakes. You might not have the knowledge, but this is a path we have all walked in. Nobody was raised to think outside of this box. We were all raised in the box. And I don't feel necessarily anything personal when it comes to this other my dissenters and stuff, because I understand that even their way, even though I believe the approach that they're taking is wrong, I still believe that the reason they're doing it is because, just like me, they're seeing that there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There is a problem with our financial status. There is a problem with our social status. They just won't admit it. But the reason why they're going at it in a different way is living proof that they also agree with me. They're just probably too proud to say it, but it's true. There is a problem with Latinos. We have been lied to. We have been told that if you follow this specific plan, you will be successful. You will have the American dream. That is a lie.
Mhm.
There is different paths to the quote unquote American dream. And I believe that it starts with mental health and getting, get in your grind. Now I want to welcome Ramon. Hi, Ramon. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me
Good,
okay?
Yeah, I hear some background music, but
good
yeah, I can
evening,
hear you
Ramon.
okay.
No, that's not me. I know that's not me. I mean, I don't know where that music came from. I'm not doing that. So, how's everybody?
Good,
Oh,
good.
oh,
How's
fine, thank
everybody?
you.
Okay. Okay, good, good, good. No, it's just that I
So,
came across.
mhm.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
No, no, it's just that I figured that I could jump in and be nosy a little bit about what you're talking about because I came across your lives, and apparently you are talking about the when it comes to finances, when it comes to us as a group.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
I'm
there was,
basically, go ahead.
no, no, go on, go on.
Yeah, basically, I started this channel so that we can discuss the things that we can fix and correct in order for us to have more financial freedom and become more corporate literate.
Yeah, there was one thing that had you had just mentioned. Actually, maybe it may have been Don Jose. He mentioned something about what he was told at home when it comes to getting educated and getting the best job that is possible. I'm of a different generation. I am what is considered Generation X, and but I was told the same thing basically. I was told very much the same thing. I was told to get an education and also to get a good job, education, so I could secure a good job. So I was very much told kind of like the same thing that Don Jose was talking about just a minute ago. Uh, when it comes to the whole finances thing, I don't know if you're referring as to the condition when it comes to finances here in the United States as opposed to the lands to our homelands. Maybe you can clear that up for me.
It's both, because if you think about it, I don't know if I started. I don't know how long you have listened to the stream, right? But I'm gonna do a brief catch up. I was comparing our situation with Eliezer Molina. I don't know if you're familiar with him. There was a plot to assassinate him in this last weekend. But
Okay,
in
he was
reality,
the candidate.
yeah, the candidate, he has been fighting for to keep the agricultural lands in the hands of many young Puerto Ricans that want to work on those lands. Is the government blocking them now? He decided that he did not want to continue cutting through red tape and having to deal with all of these things. And he created his own path to actually do these things in a different way so that he doesn't have to, continue to stay at the bottom and see the lands of Puerto Rico and the resources be stripped away from us. And I was using him as an example, even though, it was not a coincidence of what happened, with him right now and this weekend. But I was using him as an example of like, look, the Eliezer Molina plan worked for him. Then probably we need to start doing the same. It's we have been lied to. I can take from what you said before that the same business plan that Jose's mother gave to him was the same business plan that you were given, and was the
Yeah,
same business plan that we were given. And at some point, if we know something in business wise, when we all have opened the same business, we all start making less money, right? Because everybody has the same business, which is go to school, get in debt, buy a house, and find a work. It worked for the baby boomers because at that time, not many people were going to college. So they took advantage of that and they knew how to work the system in their timelines. Now, when you go to Generation X, it still kind of worked because the system, was still in need of certain kind of professionals. Now, when it comes to millennials, now for us, it doesn't work at all.
Okay.
Not the majority of us are living paycheck to paycheck. The majority of us are in debt. The majority of us are literally, I have friends that they're not even 35 and they already have filed for bankruptcy.
Denise,
And go ahead.
I wanted to add also inflation. Like when you compare like Generation X and the boomers and like the kind of money that was being made according to like the market, like it was more equitable compared to like now. Like what you've seen is that like everything has gone up but salaries stay the same. So
Yes.
it's like there was
Yeah.
this
If
article saying like, oh, people don't want to have like babies, but like why do people want to have babies when like everything is so expensive, you know?
Definitely, like, look at myself. I'm 33 and I'm just now thinking about having a kid. It's like I said, if we're going by the inflation and we're going to compare salaries then and during baby boomers and even Gen Xers when they were young, like around our age. Not that they're not young, they're still, you guys are still young, okay? But
Don't worry about Denise. I'm 58 years old and I'm 58 years young.
okay, that's good. So, if you compare the inflation, we're supposed to be, according to what they got paid back then, we were supposed to be getting paid today $24 an hour as a minimum wage. If we compare the level of inflation we have received, it's not 3% like they say, it's not 2% like they say in some places. We have gotten an increase of more than 7% in from 2009 till today. Now, if we compare the 90s, that's even more. So we're still getting 750, 725 an hour as a minimum wage. And in some states that have decided to rise it is 15 at the most. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Wow,
And if,
that rate has been like that in Puerto Rico for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's
When
the
I
whole
look,
minimum wage.
when I used to work in Puerto Rico to
Yeah.
put myself through college, the minimum wage was 5.15.
Yeah.
Later 5.15, that was 2005. And I think it was 2006 when they rose the minimum wage to 5.35. They gave us a quarter
Oh,
more
okay.
an hour. So,
oh,
you should be proud.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I thought it had gotten better. I thought it had gotten better than that because that's about the same amount that I will be making an hour when I was working in the late 90s. I mean,
Yeah.
it was about it was
But
about
you
that same
see,
amount.
yeah, and now it's 7.25, and that's what they will pay you. It's 7.25.
Yeah, but
And like I
it's
said,
only now.
come
Like what the
again?
hell? No, it's only being now, which is not really worth that much, and you can't
No.
really make a living off of it. You have to have a household where everybody is working and still live modestly. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
you're not gonna make much of a profit.
You're not making riches. Yeah. And
No.
the problem is, and I have realized that it starts from the plan. The plan that we go, because it's so frustrating, and I think that's why many of us become depressed or anxious or rebellious, or there's many factions in the millennial community of what happens to us, because we're like, I've been a good plan follower. I followed the business plan that worked for my father, that worked for my grandfather, and it's not working for me. Probably I'm the failure. And we have seen a rise in suicides and depression and anxiety and mental health depreciation. And it's because the plan is crooked. So we have to design a new plan right now. And I believe the new plan is to start owning businesses, to start getting, instead of going to college, investing more in our own stuff, learning how to write off vehicles, stop, keeping up with the Joneses, and wait a little bit longer to have kids, because unfortunately, if you don't have a certain status financially nowadays, you really can't afford a kid. I discussed in a stream like 3 or 4 streams ago, that the cost of a child that's raised on welfare is 260K until the age of 18. And now we're
If
seeing Latinos having 2, 3 kids. That's
uh,
more than $500,000.
excuse me if I
Yeah, but
interject.
knowing, oh,
No,
go
go
on,
ahead. Go
Don
ahead. I'm
Jose.
sorry.
No, but knowing us, knowing us that we can stretch dollars as far as we can, and we can make do with a lot less than maybe all other groups. To be perfectly honest, because as you were saying, there are groups that need to keep up with the Joneses and have to be willing to spend the most for the brand names, for the highest quality of things, and maybe us, because of our culture, we can kind of like, it may not necessarily mean that one kid is gonna what's gonna cost 250,000
It does.
to
It
raise.
does until the age of 18. That was a babe that was based on a kid being raised on public schools and welfare. It's 250K.
Yeah.
So if you add on that you're not on welfare, or if you're giving your kid semi good stuff, it might add up to the 150K. So we discussed it like a few streams ago. That's a kid that's literally living at the bare minimum, with no luxuries and very basic. It's 260K until that kid is 18 years old. So you have to produce in a decade and some
Also,
other years almost $250,000 to actually have a child.
And are you sure it doesn't have anything, the like location doesn't influence that number? Doesn't that make it kind of like go up and down depending on which part of the country that kid is being raised? Because that
Well,
might be a factor.
unless we go to Oklahoma, but there's not a good job market in Oklahoma. So unfortunately, many of us millennials have had to go to bigger cities so that we can find better jobs and better paying jobs, because in Oklahoma right now the minimum wage is what, $9. You can't afford to have a kid even there, even if it's cheaper, because it gets
you
adjusted
have,
to the same reality.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
and you
with
have to
the
also think
yeah,
about
but when you are in
childcare.
the
Afro Latinx was gonna say something.
yeah, go
I
on.
said you have to. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can
Yes.
hear you.
You have to also think about childcare. Childcare is about $25,000 to $30,000 a year when your children are young, from like 0 to like 3 or 4, depending on where you live in the United States.
Yeah.
Um, but I did want to add that another, I think, like good thing that the Latino community could do is, I do think investing in property is good, but like not buying like single home, but buying like multi-families and
Yeah,
renting out is a great way to like get your money back, and make money. And also like
definitely.
college is not the only way to like make money. Like there's so many programs out there where you could just go get a certificate, and you could become a coder making $100,000 just taking a 6-month program and just make like a lot of money. Or you can build your own platform, sell your own online stuff nowadays. Like the market is so different now than it was like back then, that we need to shift our mindset when it comes to how we need to make money. Because if we keep guiding our children in that direction, we're going to stay poor.
Yeah, and we're gonna start starving, because look at right now what happened with C-19. Let's be honest, how many people were like, oh, like there's this amount of millions of kids starving, and you saw all of us like donating food, giving money to freaking charity places, and because it is a concern, and it just shed a light on that. I think this whole C-19 situation just highlighted what already was wrong with the way we're doing things. Now, guys, I'm about to wrap this up. So I'm going to start with Jose, final thoughts. Then I'll go to Ramon, and lastly, Afro Latin X in that order. So, Ramon, Jose, final thoughts.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you again for being very gracious to allow me to participate in this live stream. As always, it's a lot of positive information. The fact of the matter is, people fear strong women. It's a fact, and I think we're already seeing evidence of that. I think what we need to do in order to achieve our goals is that we need to have a vision of what we want to do. We need to have the discipline to stick to our goals. We need to have the determination to disregard the naysayers, because there are going to be naysayers, because unfortunately, not everyone is going to share your vision. I thank you, and I thank all of you for coming here. And as always, I'm going to say it again, stay blessed, and please be safe, because the fact of the matter is we are still in the middle of a pandemic, and there are crazy people out there.
Oh, that's right. Thank you very much, Jose. And like I said, you always bring the good vibes. And congratulations on winning the giveaway. And
Thank
thank
you.
you very much for the support and the good energies. Okay. And I hope to see you next Monday.
Well,
I probably do. I'll probably pop up in the weekend. I'm not sure. We'll see. Depends on how good or bad the weekend goes. But thank you very much, Jose.
thank you. Be safe, everybody.
Okay. Now, Ramon, final thoughts.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for letting me on the panel, even if it was for a little short time.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that this is the kind of subject that needs follow up, a continuation, and I'm sure that this is something that you're going to touch on later on. And another thing that I wanted to kind of like give you a heads up. I'm positive. I'm positive that you're gonna get some pushback. There are gonna be certain
Yeah.
people that are
Yeah,
gonna
for
they're
sure. I'm
gonna
already getting it.
that are strongly gonna be disagreeing with you. Then they're gonna try to tell you that everything is fine, that we're doing good, that we're
Yeah.
because down us. Yeah, definitely. If we have the opportunity, we're gonna hustle. If we have the opportunity, we can outperform other people from other groups if we have the opportunity. Definitely. But when it comes to the status, kind of like the monetary status of us, we are not necessarily where probably we should be. And I
Definitely.
just wanted to say that you're not just now, but later on, there is going to be some kind of pushback, talking about how wrong you are, that we're doing fine, that we're good, and all of that. Just wanted to give you a little heads up. It will be what I would expect if I were in your in your place.
Yeah, no,
And
trust me. I knew from before I even started this channel.
all right.
And I'm already getting it. But definitely, if you have not watched it yet, I did a part 1 on this. Is a
Right.
series. This is part 2. I'm gonna do part 3 and part 4.
Okay.
So definitely,
I'll
yeah,
go
because
back.
it's a very lengthy subject that needs to be touched on in detail. So I'm dividing it, in different aspects of the same topic. So
Okay.
definitely, feel free. I'm doing it on every Friday. So, definitely if you want to jump in next Friday from the beginning, subscribe, like this video, and hit that bell for notifications so that you don't miss it.
All right. I will
Thank you
do
very
just that.
much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys, and thanks to the thanks to the commenters that are pushing, saying nice things and all the hate too. So
Thank you
yeah,
very much, Ramon. Have a nice weekend, okay?
you too have a nice long weekend. Yeah, you should be having
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Memorial. yeah, it's Memorial Weekend, so get the most out of it. Enjoy it as much as you can,
Thank
safely,
you
of
very
course.
much. You too.
All
Be
right.
safe. Okay. Afro Latinx. Final thoughts on today's topic.
So my final thoughts are to mostly to parents. Um, I think that parents, like you said, Denise, I think that it's so important that parents deal with their like mental illnesses. Because I
Mhm.
think that that's one of the reasons that like really holds us back. Um, Especially because if there's like undealt trauma, it's hard for you to figure yourself out and reach self actualization and the things that you want to do as a human. Like if you're still dealing with trauma, you can't reach that point. So
Yeah.
I want to like stress to parents to really like, because I know, mental health is a stigma in our community, but stress the importance of it in order to like, reach self actualization and to start thinking outside of the box, because we're not gonna make it if we keep thinking that like the college route is the only route to like make money,
Definitely.
because that's gonna keep us poor. It's gonna keep
Definitely.
us poor. So we need to expand our minds, do our research when it comes to different ways and avenues to make money and mental health.
Yeah,
So
definitely mental. Trust me, I'm working on a stream dedicated solely on mental health.
yeah.
So definitely we need to touch on that. So I appreciate you coming here. You're more than welcome. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. And like I said, I'm doing a part 3 and part 4 of this same topic, but different aspects. So if you're free, you want to join, you want to jump in, you're more than welcome to come and share your knowledge with me and with the public in general. So thank you very much and enjoy your weekend too and be safe.
Thank you too, Denise. You too, and enjoy your weekend. Have a
No
great
problem.
one.
Okay, bye bye. Well, guys, that was it for today. Before we leave, I want to remind the 18 folks that are here sharing with me and allowing me to be on their screens to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell for notifications so that you don't miss the part 3 and part 4. Now, before I leave today, I want to leave you guys with 2 announcements that I have. And the first one is yes, that's right. Latin splaining is going on the road during the summer. It's going to be coming soon. I'm going to be on the ground talking to other Latinos and their visions and different topics and asking them questions and interviewing them to see their thoughts and pick their minds. So stay tuned for that one. And definitely this summer is going to be lit because I have partnered up with a very special friend of mine. Many of you guys know her. And, all aboard and me are working on a collaboration together. Now, this collaboration is going to be a channel of different topics, more refreshed, something more posh, more relaxed. So, if you guys, enjoy this channel, you guys know that this is especially for business and more, how to become savvy and, knowledge of corporate literacy and stuff like that, and money wise, and how to invest in your stock, real estate, and topics like that. However, we're coming with a more refreshing and more relaxed um, channel called No Bullshit. For sure, you guys know, if you have been watching me in different streams and in my channel, you guys know that I literally do not condone bullshit. So that side of me is often never here. However, it will be on this other stream. So stay tuned for this. Amazing things are coming this summer. I hear Brotep is coming with something big too. So definitely the same with Radical Latino. His face reveal is upcoming on the 30th, this Sunday. Make sure you tune in for that. I will be joining for that because I definitely want to see his face. I don't know about y'all, but I do. So definitely make sure you subscribe to his channel too so you don't miss it. Hit that bell for notifications. The same with Brotep. We're leveling up. And like I said, people, we're entering the weekend and we can no longer be clapping for the circus. Let the circus be the circus and let's keep our business moving. With that being said, I thank you guys for joining me and I will see you on my next stream. Have a nice weekend, be safe, and stay away from danger.